This ever happened to you? You try to charge your phone, you put your USB lightning cord into your phone, and you put the other end into a USB port, maybe in your car, nothing happens. And you look at your cord, and you see it's frayed at the edges. This is a good time for us to come to terms with what's frayed in our life and broken and needs to be reconnected again. That's what Lent is all about. Lent is a time for reconnecting with our spiritual energy, our spiritual source, our spiritual guide, and our spiritual food, which is Jesus himself. Now, the discipline of Lent, which of course we're all very familiar with, it involves prayer and fasting or penance and charitable giving, which almsgiving is what we traditionally call it. Those three elements are all things that help us to make connections. Obviously, prayer is our strongest connection with God. Jesus himself prayed, and Jesus showed us by the example of his own fasting and his own sacrifice that it's important for us to keep those connections open. The problem is we can't do that alone. We need some help, and that's what Lent is all about. I don't know what your experience has been, but I know for me, when I remember Lent, I often think of it as a time which was difficult, in which I had to do a lot of things, go through a lot of trials, and we have to remember that Jesus is the one that went through all of the trials for us. He is the one that carried our burdens so that we could be free of them by relying on him. And he's the one that's going to give us the energy that we need and the spiritual courage to be able to really make the connections we're looking for with God, with our own friends and those that are closest to us, and also with those who we need to be in connection with because they are most alienated and they feel most apart from God. And that's why we do the works of mercy, to reach out to the poorest of the poor. So I would invite you, we have a wonderful opportunity. The Office of Prayer and Worship has prepared a wonderful Lenten series in which each of these essential elements of Lent will be something we can meditate upon and actually find a new spiritual invigoration to do. It's an invitation that I'm extending to each and every one of you to get connected again. But remember to use a cord that really works. And that's the life of the sacramental life of the church, by participating in the wonderful exercises of Lent and by really getting closer to the only one that can give us the energy and the salvation that we need.